Hey yo, what's up everybody? It's Russ, practically speaking to you all, and today, in case you've been living under a rock, you might have heard that the next entry in the Budokai Tenkaichi series has been announced. And it's pretty important. I mean, unless you're just, you don't care about Dragon Ball or anime and you're just not a nerd like the rest of us. That's cool. That's cool. But for the rest of us, this is a pretty important day. It's a pretty important day. A little quick history on me. I grew up playing all the old school Dragon Ball games, Budokai 1 through 3, the Tenkaichi games. I didn't play the Raging Blast one so much later, but I did play those as well. And then I've dabbled in some of the more recent ones. But personally, my favorite is Budokai 3, but I love the Tenkaichi series just as much. What I want to talk about today is what can we actually expect this game to be whenever it comes out. Like, what can we expect it to be in it? What can we expect to be taken away? I mean, it's been 15 years, so there's going to be some different things in it. So when talking about this game, I think I want to start off with talking about all the different game modes that we could possibly see and what can we expect from those different game modes themselves. The big thing is probably the story mode. Now, the story mode, if you play the previous games, has been different for each one. In Tenkaichi 1, you had where you could select the different battles from a menu, and then in Tenkaichi 2, they went the map route where you could explore all the different planets, well, mainly Earth and Namek, and you could fly around and explore the different areas there. And then in Budokai Tenkaichi 3, they went back to the menu base. You choose a battle, but it actually had dialogue in the fights, and the fights would change based on what you did or didn't do. And personally, I think I like that one the best. Budokai Tenkaichi 1's fine. Budokai Tenkaichi 2, for whatever reason, I didn't like the flying in that one. That one didn't really, they ain't hit right for me. That didn't hit right for me. It just wasn't that interesting, and it seemed like a lot of nonsense. Budokai Tenkaichi 3 got straight to the point. Like, here's your fight. Here's what's going on. You need to complete this to move on and get all the, unlock everybody, unlock everything. And I really like that. It was no BS, just get to it. And as well as the dialogue in the fight really helped, make it feel more like you were actually part of the story that was going on, instead of, just beating ass and moving on. Like, no, like the characters on the sidelines are worried and cheering for you like they would do in the actual anime, and it just made it feel more grandiose to me in a way. And as well as, the way that you could skip some scenes if you just, were that good and just annihilate an enemy, or you could go straight through and get your ass beat and something else might happen. You don't know. The way that it was structured, I don't know, I just really liked it. So I think it's safe to say that Tenkaichi 4, or the next Tenkaichi, whatever they're going to call it, is probably going to cover at least through the super anime. I'm pretty sure that's a safe bet. Now, the manga is another question. I don't know if they'll go that far, just because the manga is different. I don't know if they'll go with the manga. They could. I think it's also possible that they could cover the Dragon Ball Z story. I'm not 100% on that, but I feel like that could be a safe bet too. Now, as far as, original Dragon Ball, I don't know. Personally, I don't see it happening. If anything, it might be a couple of story beats they put in there, but ultimately I don't see that happening. As well as GT, I freaking As much as I like or at least Super Saiyan 4 and some of the story beats in GT, I don't hate GT, okay? Let's get out of there. I don't hate it like everybody else does.
What's wrong with you?
I think I can find some enjoyment in it. I love the character designs in it, but I feel like it's a pretty safe thing to say that GT will not be in the story. And even speaking on characters, we'll get to characters a little bit later, but you might not have them represented either. That's my thoughts on the story. Now, will it be a romp of, flying around the map, or going straight from fight to fight? I don't know. I don't really know. That's up in the air with the way modern gaming is now. I feel like, especially thinking about, since they just released Kakarot, I feel like that could push them in a direction of wanting to do some type of free roam, but who's to say? Tournament mode. Now, if this game doesn't have a tournament mode, there's gonna be a lot of pissed off people. This game should absolutely have a tournament mode. Now, whether they want to enforce tournament rules or not, that's another question. I think they should definitely have, the events, the intermediate, the novice round. That is a big part of a lot of our childhoods. You should be able to add as many competitors well, not as many competitors, but as many competitors, you know, within reason, and then be able to set up brackets with your friends and whatnot. And this also kind of leads into some other modes. So this leads into the online portion. So talking about online, now it's pretty well known that recent Dragon Ball Online has sucked ass, coming from my personal friends that play a lot of it online and just my tiny experience with it. Yeah, it all sucks. Now we are getting rollback for Dragon Ball Fighters pretty soon, so hopefully if that's good, then that can somehow be rolled into this Ultimate Tenkaichi Online. That's the first thing that the net code needs to be freaking good. And then on top of that, they need to have online tournaments. They need to have online tag, if they even have a tag mode like they used to have. That should be a thing. There's so many different ways it could go with this. Like, you could do possibly raids if they want to follow that route from fighters as well. That would be cool to see. But you need your versus, you need your tournament, you need spectate. Why the hell games are coming out with not having spectate? I don't know. It makes no sense. What the fuck's going on? Come on now, be smart. You also got your ranked and hopefully good matchmaking. I mean, that's a given. A lot of this stuff should be givens. Now, heading back to quote unquote offline mode, we got versus. Now, versus has been a thing since forever. You've had your 1v CPU, you had your one player versus two player, and you had your CPU versus CPU. Now, one CPU versus CPU, hopefully that's in there, because I know a lot of people like to bet on these CPUs. I don't do that. I don't like losing money like that, but hey, people like it, so they should get what they want. The main thing for me is how in this day and age with modern game design the way it is, there's a high chance that versus might not be what we want, might not be there like locally. Mainly split screen, because that's the only way this game works. That's the only way 1v2 works in this game, is split screen on the same couch at least. You know, games today, they barely have couch co-op, let alone couch versus or split screen versus. I mean, developers today are like, what you mean you actually have people come over to your house and play games? What's wrong with you? Yes, I have friends that come over and we want to play games together, especially new ones. We like the old ones, but we want to play new games together too. So that's why that split screen is important, and that local multiplayer is important. Online is a big thing and will continue to be the big thing forever and a day. So that's where I'm like, I don't know if they will really go through with having a split screen mode in this game. I could see that not being in there, and that's kind of concerning. Just because, you know, those old school game nights where everybody came over and Dragon Ball was one of the big games that we all played, it's like, that's not going to happen anymore. You can have game nights, but you're going to be at your house and I'm going to be at mine. So that's one thing that's kind of worrying for me. I could see split screen not being there. Training mode, I mean, that's a given. It should be there. If it's not, that's messed up. And also gallery / photo mode. So galleries have been in Dragon Ball, at least I know it was in Tenkaichi 3. I don't know about the other two, but I think a gallery should be in there. You know, y'all worked hard on these character models. Some of them look damn good. If we skip ahead to graphics for a second, honestly, if the game looks like anything like this trailer that we just saw, then you're good. Just don't make it look like Jump Force, okay? Just don't do that. Just do not. Don't do it. So with that being said, you know, those character models, some people want to look at them. I kind of want to look at them too. Be like, let me see the detail. Let me see the hard work y'all put into this shit, okay? You know, we can appreciate some stuff like that. And on top of that, photo mode. Don't you think it would be cool to like pause a fight and be able to like take a snapshot of some of the coolest moments or some of the dumb shit that happens in some of these fights that we'll be having? I think it would be. So that should be in there too. And every game has a photo mode nowadays, so I feel like that should be, you know, that should be a thing. Now moving on to characters. Wow, there are so many fighters. I have my expectations tempered a bit. This is basically, well, this will be a brand new game. They can't really use anything, and some other people have said this, they can't really use anything they used before. The closest they could use is the Raging Blast stuff, maybe, but even that's really old, and they might not even be able to move like they want them to move, considering how they animated them and whatnot. So characters are pretty much going to be made from scratch, and with that, it's a lot of work to try and match what everybody wants, which is the Tenkaichi 3 character roster. I love that we had a giant ass character roster in Tenkaichi 3, but you gotta admit, a lot of those bum ass characters weren't used. Tell me who went and picked a Cyberman to play as? Maybe as a troll, but who really picked a Cyberman? Huh? Who picked what's her name? Who picked Fasha? Did you really? Who really wanted to play as Tambourine all the time? Who wanted to play as Salsa? Who wanted to play as who the fuck am I missing? Like, who honestly transformed into a grade 8 with every Saiyan that could do it? Maybe for fun for the first time, but honestly, did you really use the grade 8 like that all the time? I don't think you did. I don't think you did. If you did, you're lying. And if you're not lying, I need to see proof of it. Show me. I think the character roster would be very, very, very slimmed down compared to Tenkaichi 3. Mainly because there's a lot of trash in there that doesn't need to be in there. And then we got all the super characters that we got to put into the game now. Okay? I mean, Super Saiyan Blue is already one. You can pretty much confirm that. So here's what I think about the what the character roster is going to be. I think one thing depends on, okay, what's classified as a character. Is it just like a single, is it just a single character with all of their transformations, or is each transformation a separate character? Usually each transformation is a separate character. So if we're sticking with that logic there, then you ain't gonna see a lot of unique characters in here. Goku gonna take up over half the damn roster, so that's kind of where I want to start. I feel like if you don't have every damn transformation for Goku in this game, then there's going to be a problem. Or every transformation for pretty much all the main characters, they need to have all their transformations in here. That's kind of a must-have. If you don't do that, then you're dropping the ball. You're dropping. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? That's gonna take up a hell of a lot already, because you got Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, all the damn Saiyans. Okay, and then on top of that, if we actually go through their movie transformations as well, such as not the Dragon Ball Z, the Super movies. So and I'm mainly talking about superhero. So then you got Beast Gohan, Orange Piccolo. So those are some more transformations that you got to have up in there. It's gonna be a lot. So I think we can tone down the character roster. If we look at Budokai Tenkaichi 1, there are about 60 some odd characters in that game. That's a good amount. That's a good amount. Now I don't remember all the characters like that, but I don't think there was definitely not as much filler as there was in Tenkaichi 3. But I feel like that would probably be, if we're gonna go, if that was the starting point of a new series back then I feel like that would probably be a good starting point now, if not a little bit less, just because of how much more work and effort goes into actually making a character nowadays compared to back then. Like polygons, like there are some I wouldn't be surprised if we lowball it, maybe 35, 30. I think 60 is probably the high end, and midway is like, of course, 50, 40, somewhere in there. I feel like that would be a safe bet to start out with. And then there's DLC, which, God, there's gonna be so much DLC for this game. Okay. So they're about to rob us like we're blind. Anyway, as far as who's gonna be in it, pretty much think most of the main Dragon Ball Z characters are gonna be their heroes and villains. Super as well. Again, I think we'll probably at least go up to the anime, where the anime ended off. The manga is another thing altogether. I'm not sure if they'll incorporate that into the game. It'd be cool if they did. Like, please go right ahead. I'd love to see that. But considering most people have seen the anime and not the manga, I think that would probably be a safe bet to be sure that stuff is in there. And then going back into the past, like Samurai Jack. Dragon Ball. If we get a Dragon Ball character, it's gonna be Kid Goku. Maybe King Piccolo. But that's about all I see out of that. And we might not even get that. And then going back into the past but ahead, Dragon Ball GT. Then if we get a Dragon Ball GT character, I'll be surprised. Like, maybe Super Saiyan 4. Because they did that before. They put Super Saiyan, what was it, in Tenkaichi? They put it in Tenkaichi. Was he in the first one? So you could probably say the Super Saiyan 4s, the Goku, Vegeta, maybe Gogeta will be in there. That might be it though. Will their base forms / Super Saiyan forms be in there? I don't know. A lot of people hate GT that they don't want to put in there.
What?
Will their base forms and other Super Saiyan forms be in there? I don't know. I hope so. I really hope so. I kind of like being little GT Goku transforming and beating people's ass like that. But that was a dream I had to wait for 2 games before, and I wouldn't be surprised I have to wait for it again. And even in Xenoverse, you had to wait for it. So who the knows? And as far as super characters, I mean, of course you're gonna get Beerus and Whis. You're gonna get them. You're gonna get Golden Frieza. You'll most likely get Goku Black and Super Saiyan Rose. Zamasu, Fuse Zamasu as a probably actually, yeah, he'll probably be a good chance, and they'll have the might be out that you might be doing the fusion technique. I cannot talk. Okay, again, Fuse Zamasu, and you probably have to get, damn it, Fuse Zamasu, and I wouldn't be surprised if you have to use a Batara fusion to do that in gameplay. I mean, he'll be selectable, but if you get to do it in the actual match, that'd be pretty cool. I wouldn't be surprised if you'd be able to do that. Future Trunks Super variant, I'm pretty sure that'll be in there. With Super Saiyan Rage, Ika, whatever the hell you want to call it, will that be in there? Probably. I'd say that's a good shot. The Universe 6 fighters hit. He'll be in there. Frost, he'll be in there. I wonder if they'll like. He only transformed once. Like he only had one transformation. So I don't know if he'll transform like Frieza. But that'd be pretty cool if they like kind of made some what if transformations. But that might be asking for too much. But yeah, he'll be in there. Kaba will be in there with his Super Saiyan transformation. Yeah, Magetta will probably be in there. Yeah, and then Batama, he might be in there, maybe. This is skating on the line of maybe filler, maybe a bit trash, but he was in the main storyline, so he could be in there as well. Kale and Cauliflower. Now, separately, I feel like they could be in there separately. Definitely Kefla. She'll definitely be in there. She has to be. Yeah, the fandom says so. She'll be in there. But as far as Kale and Cauliflower separately, there's a good chance they could be in there, maybe with their transformations. I wouldn't put it past them for them to show up, just because of how popular they are. I think there's a good chance you could see a few of the Universe 11 guys in there, and Jiren's an obvious one. He'll be in there for sure. Topo, he could probably be in there. Dispo, maybe. As far as the rest of them, I doubt it. They didn't do too much in the show, so I doubt they'll really be in there. And plus, people don't talk about them like that. Now, if we go into the manga, I mean, you got Granola, you got Moro, and you got, I forget the angel's name that showed up, but he could possibly make an appearance. Jocko. Jocko might be a. He could make an appearance. I could see him make an appearance, maybe. But let me know what other characters you'd like to see in the game. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. I'd love to see and have some conversations with you guys. Definitely curious of who you think will be in the game and why you think they would be and whatever else. So, but anyway, moving on to basically the last point, gameplay mechanics. Now, will this game play like the previous games? Maybe in some ways, but I think there'll probably be some major differences, especially with modern game design. I think you could probably let's back up. Okay. We're not gonna sit here and act like the controls of the previous game were like the simplest thing to get a grasp of. They really weren't. Like, you once you got it, but it took some time to get used to. And then in Rage and Blast, they tried to simplify it, which people didn't like, but they did try to simplify it for better or worse. So if I had to say, I think the gameplay mechanics will probably be simplified for a more general audience. Now, I'm not gonna say that's a bad thing. We don't know yet. We don't know. But you gotta think about things like accessibility nowadays, and again, making sure this game has as big an audience as possible. And complicated controls don't help with that. So I could see them being an option of being like, okay, you can have like some maybe customized or having like classic controls to a degree. Maybe that'll help, do more. Like in modern fighting games now, where they give you got, your auto combos, you got your simple button configurations. But if you use that stuff, you're not going to get the most out of the game. You're not going to get the most out of your character. But if you go with the traditional / classic controls, then you have more at your disposal and you can do a lot more with the character, and that's how you really get good at the game. So I can see that being a thing if they want to dive that deep into it. That would be cool to see. But I think an interesting thing to talk about here, it would be if they go with the cinematic route, but that they have in the past, or if they go with the the more real time that the Xenoverse games have been doing, which is cool to a degree, but at the same time it kind of takes away from the spectacle of the game, to me at least, especially if if transformations are like that. Again, this is the only thing we have to go off of, but if transformations are like that trailer, I'd rather have that. So I hope they kind of go with the more cinematic route in terms of transformations, supers, beam struggles. We need beam struggles back. We need it back. I promise you need it back, because I need to tear up my analog stick so I can have calluses on my hands, and then go buy another controller and be like spending $300 on controllers. And yes, clashes, and even in terms of hand-to-hand fighting, we need those clashes too, so I can again beat up my analog sticks and buy another controller, and have even more calluses on my hands. And yeah, I think most of the mechanics that we're all familiar with will probably make a return. A lot of them have stayed throughout the Dragon Ball series up till now, so I don't see them going anywhere, in terms of like locking on to your opponent and possibly losing the line of sight with them. That I can see that still being a thing. Also, in terms of the way your energy works, are we still going to be having ki as well as blast stalks? That's a good question to have. I'm not sure, because if that's the case, if we don't have blast stalks, how would transformations work? Is it just based on your ki, or is it based on something else? I don't know. There's so many questions that we don't have the answer to, and like I said, this is all just speculation, but that's something else to think about. Are we still going to be blocking in 4 different directions? Because that can be kind of confusing for new players. It could be. There might be something they take out. Vanishing. Now, vanishing has kind of been simplified in more recent times. It's not really timing based. It's really you press a button and you vanish. It's just depending on the timing, will you get smacked from vanishing or not. That's really it. Whereas in older games, you had to time it in order to actually vanish. Will that be how it is now, or will a vanish be like a specific button that you can use at any time to try and get out of dodge? I don't know. We'll have to see. Another thing I'm wondering is, how big are the maps going to be? In Xenoverse, they can be pretty massive. In Tenkaichi 3, while they weren't that big, they felt gigantic at the time. At least they did feel really big. So I'm wondering, how big are these maps going to be, and also what all is in them? Is it just mountains? Is it just static mountains everywhere that you can knock people through? Or what? That's probably what it's going to be like. A big ass map with mountains, buildings, maybe cars, and water. Probably pretty standard stuff that we can get used to. I hope they do something cool with the maps. I don't know what that would be, but it surprised me. But yeah, as far as gameplay mechanics go, that's all I can really think about for that as well. If you got if you have anything else that you can think of, leave them in the comments down below. I'm gonna be reading them, and I'll respond, and we can have a conversation about it. Let's keep it going. But yeah, I think this game, whenever it comes out, it has a high potential of being good. Now, it is Bandai Namco. Let me say that again. It is Bandai Namco with anime. Jump Force was a thing. I'm sorry to keep bagging on Jump Force, but if the same people that made that are making this, it can be kind of concerning. It can be pretty concerning. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but it kind of looks like it's still the same people. I have my reservations about the game. I want it to be good. I want it to be good. Of course, I want it to be good. This is my childhood we're talking about, as well as many of you guys' childhood. But I will not be blinded by the hype of this game. I will not. Everything can come out 1 of 3 ways: good, bad, or mediocre. I'd rather it be mediocre than bad. I want it to be great, but I'm not going to sit here like this game is going to be perfect. This game is not going to be perfect. But I do think this game has a lot of expectations to live up to. Some of them probably even unrealistic, if we're honest. But hopefully they can do the best with what they are able to do and what they have. And we'll be here to see. So with that being said, this has been Russ, practically speaking to all of you out there about this Dragon Ball Tenkaichi 4. Or would it... I mean, if we count Raiden Blast 1 and 2, it'd be like Tenkaichi 6. But if they count, I don't know. A lot of people don't count them, so it's Tenkaichi 4. And then again, they might even not call it like Budokai Tenkaichi 4. It might be called something else for all we know. But That's gonna do it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I want to do more things like this, more talking pieces, more opinion pieces. So if you like this, let me know in the comments down below. More videos on the way, more different things coming. I got more gameplays coming. That's not gonna stop. I got some reviews on some games that I've been playing that I'm going to try and put out pretty soon. Yeah, so please subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this, and also hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I put out a video, as well as follow me on all my socials. You can find links to that in the description down below. And yeah, until the next one, guys, this has been Russ, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Later.